Welcome to the Galactic Mayan Weather Report. So I'm coming to you today on the beginning of the Blue Night Wavespell. So that's 13 days dedicated to the evolutionary process of dreaming. The Blue Night is all about the dream time and our capacity to tap into the abundance that is the human nature, that is the human spirit is abundant. You know, we live on a planet that is abundant, but it's merely our perception of our environment that determines whether we experience abundance or not. And in order to be able to experience our environment as abundant, we need to tap into something higher than our brain. You know, this logical program that's been given to us by our schooling and government and education, our experience out there in the world, any traumas, our parents, you know, all these things that we've gone through as a child. And there's no blame in this. It's the process of becoming human. We go through challenges. We create these programs that become filters of how we perceive our reality. And the way we perceive our reality then affects how our DNA manifests itself. You know, it's the science of epigenetics. You can Google that if you want to know more. And it's basically saying that the way we perceive our environment affects the way that our DNA reacts and responds, how our body responds in life, and what hormones it creates, etc., etc. So when you then look at this and you think, okay, so in order to experience this abundance in the world outside around us, we first of all have to come to a place of spiritual abundance within. And I'm not talking about any fluffy woo-woo, I'm talking about, you know, going internally, much like this cave that I find myself in today. Due to the weather, it's quite blustery, there's a lot of rain and things here in the Perth Hills. And I found it quite symbolic that I've come into this beautiful little cave, this nurturing darkness. And, you know, I hear the thunder rumbling in the background as I say that. And it's very symbolic of this process of the Blue Night Wavespell we're in now for the next 13 days. That it's a time for us not to look outwardly, for people to tell us, you know, whether our visions and dreams are real or not, or whether they're realistic or not, or how we're supposed to behave. But rather, this Blue Night Wavespell is a time to go internally into your own being. You know, it's to become retrospective, to look inside ourselves, to look at who we are, how we got here, what is the journey that brought us to this point. And then through this internal guidance, we tap in and we can tune into tuition from within, you know, rather than tuition from without. And this Blue Night is encouraging us to use our intuition and an inward process to tap into our higher dreaming. Now, the Indigenous Australians, you know, have a lot of their, you know, philosophy in a sense is around the dream time. The idea that the manifest reality that we live in is a physical manifestation that stems from a dreaming, a cosmic dreaming, you know, beyond the physical. So first it must be dreamt up by God, you could say. The galactic ordering dynamic need, you know, dreams it up. The collective mind dreams up, and then it comes into manifestation. And humans, we are actually incredible creators. As much as we can beat ourselves up because, you know, we can create good and bad as powerfully. You know, this Blue Night is about tuning into our capacity as creators to tap into the higher dreaming and to retrieve from this higher dreaming, you know, your dream time, this nighttime space that you go into after midnight, that mystical space that we've always loved in story times, you know, the caves, the mystery of the caves and the darkness. You know, it's about going into the darkness, tapping into the collective dreaming and finding the piece that is yours. What part of that dreaming is yours? And it's not a logical process. It's about using your intuition to feel with your heart and your body what resonates with you. And when you can take the time during this next 2 weeks to feel into what does your dreaming look like? How do you see your life existing? Letting go of any external conditions, any external ideas of the, you know, what's right or wrong, and actually feeling what feels good to you. What kind of future feels good? What feels free and liberating? What feels co-creative? And just really sit with that over this next 2 weeks and refine your dream. Tap into it and create a solid connection to the dreaming. Because we've been brought up since we were kids, that, stop dreaming, kid. Oh, that's not realistic. That's not going to happen. Stop being so idealistic. All this kind of conditioning that has kind of made us let go of this idea that dreams can become reality. And so I challenge you now to break that conditioning, to allow yourself the fantasy for the next 2 weeks, to allow yourself to connect into a dream that resonates. And again, this is an important piece. This is not about connecting into a dream that others will accept. So sometimes it's best not to even share your dream, except with the right people. There's very few people you will find that can truly hear you and truly receive your sharing. So hold your dream like a precious gem. Keep it for yourself. Keep it and nurture it and allow it to grow and expand and just keep it like a seed, like a gem inside your heart, and only share it with those who you trust to be able to hear it without projecting their own dream onto it. Because your dream is unique and it won't be easy for many to understand. It'll be hard enough for yourself to understand sometimes. And so bring this dream in and spend this 2 weeks to pull down your piece, to flesh it out, draw it, write about it. Just work on creating it and feeling it, getting to know it. And then hold that in your heart. Because that's your tuning fork. That's your vibrational tuning fork for the reality that you will be creating from here on. And if you do not connect to that dreaming, then you end up holding someone else's dream in your heart. And that's where we get out of resonance with our physical reality, and we wonder why we're not getting satisfaction from our achievements, etc. It might be from trying to please, my father in some way, or my mother, or some kind of childhood experience that might be continually, sitting as the dream I should be trying to achieve. And every time I strive for it, I find, turbulence and challenge. And so that's where it's important to let go of other people's dreams. Let them have their own dreams. And remember that it is not for you to decide the dreaming of others. It's not your responsibility, because you do not have the ability to respond in deciding what other people dream. Let them find their way to their piece of the puzzle. And keep your focus on pulling in your piece of the dreaming. You'll know it by the way your heart resonates, by that feeling you get through your body, this rush of love, this rush of energy that says yes, this excitement to move towards it. And when you do this, you may find resistance come up, where the logical mind says, yeah, but come on, that's not realistic. How are you going to get from here to there? It's just not going to happen. When that comes up, it's really important to acknowledge that this is a logical mind that is trying to work out how you will get from here to there based on the information of this moment and the past. What happens tomorrow, your logical mind has no idea about. It can try and predict it, and often quite accurately, because it can become self-fulfilling. But the logical mind does not take into account synchronicity. It does not take into account telepathy, this collective mental field known as the noosphere, where when you connect into your dream, you put that tuning fork of your dream in your heart, you begin to resonate an electromagnetic frequency as well as a telepathic signal that begins to connect to others that fit into that dream, that are co-creative to that dream, and they will begin to be drawn toward you. Your aura will begin to draw those co-creative components into your reality in ways so much more efficient than the logical mind ever could do. But this is where faith comes in. The religions have always talked of faith. And it's not about faith in God. It's not about faith in anybody else. But it's about faith in the human experience. It's about trust in the hero's journey. Trusting that no matter how it manifests, that you get from here to your dream, That is part of your hero's journey. That is part of your adventure that you came here for, that you are here to become exhilarated through both the suffering and the bliss along the way. You will fall over and scrape your knees along the way. You will have ecstatic moments where you rescue the village or the something, the metaphoric village, and you have these great experiences where you find the Holy Grail or the treasures, and you'll have all of these things. But it's about really embracing them as part of the human experience. That whether you're falling over and scratching your knee or whether you're making love in the most exquisite moonlight, both are incredibly valuable to this human experience. And it's not about getting the right experiences, it's about getting the right attitude in how you experience them. And when you begin to see every challenge, every fall over that you have, every good fortune that you have as an incredibly beautiful piece of your cosmic fairy tale, of your hero's journey, that's when you become super empowered. That's when you become invincible. That's when you begin to truly live. And then your dream will come into manifestation. So enjoy the dreaming and allow yourself to embrace that inner child that's allowed to fantasize and to imagine things beyond your wildest dreams, and see what lands in your heart by the end of this 2 weeks. So much love in Lakesh.